This is They Reminisce Over You. I'm Miguel.
And I'm Christina.
They Reminisce Over You is a podcast that celebrates and honors the best in music, movies, and TV from the past.
We get into the careers and legacies of some of the biggest names in hip-hop, R&B, and pop culture. From discussing the groundbreaking music of Missy Elliott and Mary J. Blige,
to exploring iconic moments in TV and film like the chaos at the 95 Source Awards. They Reminisce Over You has something for everyone.
So join us as we reminisce over the artists, movies, and TV shows that have shaped our lives and continue to influence popular culture today.
Yes, thank you, and welcome back to another episode of Q Points Podcast, dropping the needle on Black music history. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is J. Ray, sometimes known by my governments as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. What's happening, people?
J. Ray, I am super excited about this particular episode because, you know, walking down memory lane is an everyday occurrence for us, But this particular episode is something special, and I'm very excited because we have a special guest to join us to talk about this particular piece of iconic filmography that is a part of the United States American canon of fine artistry and probably should be inducted into the walls of Congress as well. So,
you know what? They should preserve this film. We'll talk about that later.
Absolutely. From my lips to God's ears. But first and foremost, of course, we have some business to tend to. J. Ray, please let the listener know how they can continue to make sure that we remain at the top of the charts.
Absolutely. Please, y'all. Wherever you are watching the show right now or listening to the show right now, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And you can do us a solid and share the show with folks that you know. If you are watching Q Points, you likely have friends and family, co-workers, associates who also are really into music and love Black music and love music history that would probably enjoy Q Points. So you need to make sure that you share the show with them. If you want to go a step further, you can go ahead to our website at qpoints.com and click the subscribe button. That way you can support Q Points and get access to some other behind the scenes content that we have available for folks. And also make sure that you shop our store at store.qpoints.com and also join our mailing list at magazine.qpoints.com. Yo, we sent out we've been sending out some dope mailing list joints and really going behind the scenes with y'all. So if you're really trying to get some of that other good information, y'all need to be on that mailing list, yo.
They absolutely do. And let's just, I guess, tell them, we kind of teased it already, what we're discussing this evening. I mean, this episode, we're talking about none other than the hip hop classic House Party.
Yes. And
House Party stars, of course, an iconic rap group, Kid and Play, who got represented on the BET Awards.
Yep.
I don't think that people understand. There wasn't enough time to put how much Kid and Play has contributed to the culture in that 1 minute, 20 seconds that they were on stage at the BET Awards. The Kid and Play kickstep is just a portion of what they've given to the culture. And so I'm happy that we're here to discuss them tonight.
You know, we've been having this Hip Hop 50 conversation all year, and we'll continue to do that. We talked about one of the impacts of Kid and Play on an earlier show because we talked about hip hop and animation. If you haven't checked out our hip hop and animation show, we'll make sure that the link to that is in the description for folks to go back and check that out. We're so excited tonight because we have an amazing special guest, one half of the White People Won't Save You podcast. Jordan Clark is here, and we're going to bring Jordan on But I'm going to read his bio first because it is dope and extensive, and you need to understand who Jordan is, right? So, our guest, Jordan Clark, is a comic book writer and podcast host based in Baltimore. Shout out to Baltimore. We will be there later this year for Afros and Audio, so we'll be in the spot. He's written for DC Comics, Image Comics, and was part of the inaugural Milestone Initiative class. If I reach back, if it was close enough, I have my Milestone comics back here. I have a few back there in the back I just got. Anyway, he co-hosts the podcast White People Won't Save You with Cameron Mason. And each week they deconstruct a different white savior movie and recontextualize them through a Black and POC lens. Q Points family, welcome Jordan Clark to the show. What's up?
Welcome back.
What's good, y'all? How's it going?
I'm fantastic.
I'm excited to talk with y'all tonight.
The time is now. The time is now to sip some pre-diabetic Kool-Aid and
Make your
discuss
teeth hurt.
and make your teeth hurt and discuss the fantastic film that is House Party. So many running gags, so many jewels that came out of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about the memorable cast and the impact that it had on Hollywood. But Jerry and I are OGs. We, we saw.
We
the
both
movie
saw
first
this in theater.
in theaters. As a matter of fact, it was one of the first movies I was ever allowed to go see by myself. So, because I was old enough, and I'm just curious, how were you introduced to House Party, and did you know Kid and Play as a rap group?
So I'll go down all of the things. So, what's interesting is that when I was growing up, like, everything was going on right in the 90s. Like, a lot of those groups from the 80s were still around. Salt and Pepper was still big, and something like Kid and Play come from Salt and Pepper, but like Kid and Play themselves. So I was born in 88. So, by the time 98, when I'm 10 years old, comes around, I'm probably old enough to start thinking about House Party. Like 98, like they were around, but they weren't really around. Like, they weren't really like Kid and Play anymore. Like, they kind of had, come down a little bit. And so, like, I knew Kid and Play. It's like, oh, the guy with the funny hair, and they did that movie. Yeah. And so, like, I had a friend whose house I would go to, and his grandma lived at, garage sales, yard sales, all that stuff. So she would just come home with like a whole bunch of VHS tapes, right? Yeah. Like, just whatever she could find. And so one of those tapes was House Party. And again, we kind of were like, I think I know a House Party, like, like, it was kind of ubiquitous in the culture, but it wasn't like House Party, Yeah. And so I probably didn't see this movie till I was like 13, 14 years old, which is probably like the perfect time to see it, actually, because all of these things are on your mind, and you're kind of like, I'd like to have a house party, like. Yes. But before I'd seen the movie, like, I had also started getting more and more into hip hop just as a genre. And so, like, again, there were a lot of jokes about Kid and Play, because I think there was a weird Kid and Play and Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff, which I assume we will talk about again, because they have an interesting link to this movie.
Yes.
But like, they kind of got labeled as just like rappers for kids, or like clean rappers, or like these rappers that were just kind of like, they weren't as hard as Rakim or like, KRS-One or like all these other rappers, but like they could rap, and like Kid and Play could rap, what I mean? And like, you'd be surprised, I think, a lot of people, if you played some of the OG Kid and Play music, like it's yes, dance music, it's party music, but it's like they got bars. Like, they're not just like, specifically, and I'm not going to get old head on you, but like, today, a lot of rappers today, like, probably couldn't rap as good as Kid and Play, like, in their prime when they were really getting it. So once I started to key into that, I was like, oh, and they can rap. And then you see the freestyle battle in the movie, and you're like, oh, damn, you know what I mean? And then you watch the, so like, even though I was a little bit removed from, when the movie came out, like, watching it all those years later, it's like, everything still hits. Like, everything is still as good as it was when it came out. So I think for me, it was kind of like, I wish I could have seen it in a theater. You know what I mean? Like, because it is, I think for a lot of Black youth, like it is kind of a formative movie. You know what I mean? Because it's still relevant today. I know we're going to talk about the remake at the very end, but you know, I mean, and that's why, because I think even then I was probably more familiar with like House Party 2 or 3, you know, because like, you know, those are movies that had come out, you know, I didn't go see them, but like I was aware of like the Pajama Jam and like, you know, all these other things. And so, you know, going back and watching the original where everything came from, it's kind of like, oh, like you get why it's a big deal.
Yeah,
absolutely. So J. Ray, like, tell us, you know, your experience of seeing House Party for the first time.
Oh my goodness. Well, I will tell you the feeling of it. I definitely, so I was 12 when I saw House Party in the theater. I don't remember which theater I went to see it because there were a lot of theaters around us at the time. But I was looking forward to this film. So I fell in love with hip hop 2 years prior. So by 1990, which was a very interesting year in hip hop culture because everything was starting to really happen. Hammer had already hit the scene. You had the West Coast popping. You had hip hop going Hollywood, right? Like everything seemed larger than life. And when those trailers for House Party hit, it was like, oh no, this is happening. Like this is our time. Even though I had seen Breakin', I had seen Crush Groove, it was House Party that was the one like, no, this is the one. And I remember going to see that movie and leaving just so happy because I felt like it checked all the boxes of what I wanted my teenage life to be like what I thought high school would be, what I thought all these things would be. House Party, I got dance battles, I got freestyles, I got cool kids, I got house parties, hip hop, the whole 9 yards. And I remember feeling very happy about it and just kept watching it. So when it came out on VHS, it was a whole thing. I will admit that when I rewatched it, I hadn't watched House Party in a long time, probably because I watched it so much as a kid. Like I knew the movie. So I hadn't rewatched it in a long time until the preparation for this show. And I was honestly fully prepared to hate it, which is weird. I was fully prepared to hate it because I'm like, I ain't seen this in a long time. The stuff I liked, I probably won't like anymore. I was completely wrong. I still adore this movie. The bits still landed. It was still fun to watch. I still felt good watching it. It's one of those movies I literally just want all Black teens to see this movie. It's the quintessential Black teen film. So that's my memory of seeing House Party was full joy. And I still feel full joy today having experienced it as an adult. What about you, Sir Daniel?
Heavy on the agreement about that. Absolutely. So I saw House Party in St. Petersburg, Florida, because I was uprooted from my Brooklyn, New York roots and relocated to St. Pete, Florida, which was my first year in high school. And this movie coincided with my freshman year of high school. Funny thing about it, there were some students at that high school that looked like Full Force with the Jerry curls and the muscles, because I don't know if y'all know about St. Petersburg, Florida in 1989, 1990. It was the eighth wonder of the world. It's a blip in time, a place that where time kind of forgot back then. And so I was just like, wow, this is really happening. But yes, Full Force were definitely the oldest high school students ever, which made, like you said, the running gags in that movie still stand to this day. I, as a hip hop fan and a fan more so of the Idolmakers clan, which is what Kid and Play came from, with Salt and Pepper, Dana Dane, Sweet Tea, that whole crew, Herbie Lovebug, Kwame. He incubated them, these middle class kids from Queens. He incubated them, and they became superstars. Almost everybody from that clique became superstars because they weren't hardcore.
Yeah.
And that's what gave them the appeal, the universal appeal, because, it needed to happen because for Black kids, for us growing up, now we can, like J. Ray said, we can absolutely say that for the Black community, we have our, what was the name of the movie that Tom Cruise was in where he's in the underwear sliding across the floor?
Risky Business.
Risky Business. We have our own Risky Business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had Kid and Play doing the performative, the trope of the teenagers where the parents go out of town.
Mm-hmm.
What do? They throw a party. We have our own 16 Candles and Risky Business all rolled up into House Party. And so that brings me joy, just like you said, J. Ray. And Jordan, I'm curious to how you felt about the cast, because by the time you saw House Party, you were familiar with Martin, you were familiar with Tisha Campbell as Gina and all her other roles. AJ, you were familiar with AJ from Baby Boy because she was Baby Boy's mom. So when you were engaged with the cast, I know we talked about them, all of them being way out of high school age at the time of the filming of the movie, but I think I can't see anybody else playing these different roles. Like, what was the casting like for you when you saw the movie finally?
Well, and don't forget Robin Harris, right? Because
Robin Harris and John Witherspoon and
John Witherspoon for Friday. You know,
everybody was in this movie.
Clifton Powell was in it, and I think for me, you know, like it was a little strange just because, like, you're looking at again Martin Lawrence, people like that, and you're like, but that's Martin. You know what I mean? Like, why isn't he the star of this movie? But it's automatically you can tell. You know, just from the beginning, you know, Kid and Play's not only chemistry, but like, and here's the thing that, again, people don't give them enough credit for. Like, Kid and Play, I don't know if they're good actors, you know what I mean? In the sense of, like, could they play various roles and, like, you know, do drama and do, you know, but like comedy, they can do comedy. They're comedians. They can, you know, they could do that because I think, again, like it's routine, right? And so, like, rap routine, dance routine, comedy routine, right? Like, they just if you already have that chemistry doing all these other things, like, you could certainly bring that chemistry in with the acting and the jokes. And so as leads, like, they were tremendous, right? You know what I mean? Just because, like, you can feel their energy, and that's really what the movie has in spades, right? It's just energy, right? It's just moving. It's just like the music is getting you into it. There's always jokes, like nothing really outstays its welcome, you know, in terms of, like, you know, a gag or anything. Like, we're just going, we're just moving. And so, like, I just loved seeing everyone again, even John Witherspoon, whenever he pops up across the street, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's always a welcome, you know, little bit of levity and comedy where he's just yelling at people. And so I was enamored with the cast. Again, I don't know if we want to talk about the coulda, woulda been. I
think we should talk about that because there is, you mentioned DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince earlier. I think we should clue people into this little nugget that people might not know about House Party.
Yeah. Now, can I give you some inside baseball?
Oh, so can I give? Do you want me to give the nugget and then you give us the inside?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the nugget that we're referring to is, y'all may remember this because Will Smith and both Jazzy Jeff have kind of talked about it. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince and New Line Cinema, they ended up in this huge lawsuit, whatever. So anyway, as part of the settlement, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince had to star in a New Line film. And so when House Party popped up, it was like, oh, this is going to be the perfect film for DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. But Reginald Hudlin was like, nah, that ain't what's about to happen with this thing. So that's like a little bit of a backstory.
Yeah. So as part of the Milestone Initiative, right? Reginald Hudlin was there with us when we went out to Burbank. You know what I mean? So he was just telling us stories. You know what I mean? Like unprompted, just like you start him going and he's just gonna go. So he was talking about it because one, when he was getting ready to do this movie, that's when Milestone Comics was getting started. And so like all the people at Milestone Comics were talking to Reginald and they were like, yo, we're going to start this comics thing where we just this all black comics. Like, we want you to come on. We want you to do this with us. And he was like, about to get this movie. Like I'm this close to getting this movie. And so, he had taken it to New Line Cinema and everybody was telling him that this movie's going to flop. Right. Because it's all the things that nobody wants to see. It's a black movie. It's a teen movie. And it's an R-rated comedy, right? Nobody wants any of those things. There's just three strikes, right? Like this is never going to work. And so, like you said, like he brought them the movie, and they were like, "Great, let's do Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff." And he was like, "I love them, but like to force them to do a movie based on a lawsuit, like that's not how I want to be Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff."
Right, under duress,
right?
And I don't think that's going to be the best way. But he had also already been a big fan of Kid and Play, and watched all their music videos and was very keyed into them, and like just aesthetically, right, like the style that Kid and Play had, right? Because again, like people look at Kid and they're like, oh, like the crazy, like, they would call him Eraserhead in the movie, right? Like he's just like, like people were doing that, you know what I mean? Like it was a thing. Like
it was a thing.
When Kid brought it out, people were like,
yeah, blondes at the top of their box haircuts. DJ Sir Daniel has a whole story about that.
Same. Absolutely.
And I think, like you're saying, like that's really what makes this cast what it is, because Kid and Play, as much as they are movie stars and music stars and all that other stuff, like they had the appeal to like the base market audience of this movie. Like kids wanted to be Kid and Play. They wanted to dress like them. They wanted to dance like them. And that's the thing. If DJ Jeff and Fresh Prince are great, and I think the movie still would have been great, but like they can't dance, right? Like Kid and Play can. They wouldn't have had a back and forth rap like they did. You know what I mean? Like it would have been a lot of leaning on Will Smith to do a lot of stuff,
for sure.
Which is again, he could have done it. He's very capable, but like I think that duo dynamic between both of them really carries the movie in a way where it doesn't. It's kind of Kid's movie, right? Because he's kind of the story that you're following, but like Play just gets as much time and as much like chance to shine and do all that stuff as anybody else. So I think if they would have gone that route, still a very successful movie, but I think it's iconic because Kid and Play got cast in it and they made it what it was. Because again, House Party 2, House Party 3, you know what I mean? Like they go on, they do a couple more sequels after that. So like this isn't just a movie that happened, like it turned into a whole thing. Like it really took off.
I just want to add something real quick, just to add on another layer. Do you know who else went out for the lead roles in House Party? Groove Be Chill. And they had a connection to Andre Harrell, and Uptown, and that was a major part. They were a major part of that movement in pushing House Party to have the hip hop flavor that it had.
What's the word, everybody? It's your man, Mr. Al Peter, Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood, and the NPN Network. And I'm here today to tell you about what the NPN Network consists of. The NPN Network is an entertainment as well as a developing media company based in Jacksonville, Florida. Our goal is to highlight various creatives that exist in spaces of music, visual arts, podcasting, and more. Within the network, we have multiple brands that will parallel with creatives, events, and other brands. The Neighborhood Podcast Network is a collective of independent podcast shows that has various topics ranging from the latest culture news, mental health, sports, and leisure conversations. We also have the Groove Suite brand that explores the realm of soul, hip-hop, R&B, funk, and more. The Groove Suite. Our health and beauty section gives a view on how to keep yourself in shape, in style, and in tune with your body and your mental. Last, we have the Fly Socks and Tees, an annual summer event that brings creatives together to celebrate the past years and victories that were received. So swing by our website, mpn-llc.com, and subscribe so you can stay up on what's happening with the neighbors and the groovers. Also follow us on our Facebook page as well as Instagram and Twitter, MPN Management. Building but becoming to the top.
I'm glad you mentioned Groove Be Chill, because one of the things that makes this movie memorable is the music. The cameos don't feel forced. You have full force, full acting, full force are a production and writing powerhouse at this point. Like, Full Force is doing all the things in music, but meanwhile they're just acting and greatly in House Party, so it doesn't feel forced. Comedic
acting.
George Clinton,
Bow-legged Lou is giving you a voice,
and we got an iconic line from Bow-legged Lou, right?
We're gonna kick your fucking
ass. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bow-legged Lou, who has been in the chat, by the way. We'll put the link down there to the time that Bow-legged Lou showed up in the Q Point chat. It was a great moment. But the music cameos in this film don't feel forced. It's just like, oh, that's really funny. That's George Clinton DJing. Oh, that's really funny. And that's one of the reasons why I think this film lands, is because the story is just the story. And it's kind of a universal story. It's like, yeah, hey, parents going away for the weekend. What in the 80s and the 90s, what do? You have a party. This is what you do. It's just this version of a party is a black party. And sidebar, another fun fact is that was Play's actual house, apparently.
Before we go on, though, can we very quickly, because this is something that we do have to talk about. AJ Johnson and Tisha Campbell hold it down on the opposite side just as well as Kid and Play. And
absolutely.
As a duo, they were a long-standing duo as well. And so for them to come in and have to match everything that's going on, from the dancing to just being, because it very easily could have just been, oh, you're the romantic, love interest in this movie, and just stand here, look good, smile sometimes, you know what I mean? But they're funny. They have their own, little side story and chemistry and stuff going on. There's some, maybe betrayal, happening between them, and there's all these layers to it too that really, I think, add to the story. Because if they had just been, well, here are the fine girls that Kid and Play are trying to attract and get with, they could have easily just been in the movie. But the fact that they're their whole own characters, but also again, able to go literally toe for toe with Kid and Play, really elevates the film too.
Yeah.
Jordan, did you pick up on that, the trope between Sydney and Shireen about the good girl versus the bad girl? The light-skinned girl, of course, is the good girl with the good background. And of course, here comes, the hood rat.
From the projects.
From the projects with the ghetto family.
Yep.
And did you pick up on that? And I'm wondering, people, the people would have gone in. Well, why? How come the light skinned girl is the good girl and the dark skinned girl is the hood?
But Kid and Play the same thing. They played that same trope. So you have Kid as the meek good character that the girls kind of like, but he's kind of a dork. And then you have his playboy bad boy friend who happens to be darker skin, right? So that was interesting. Sidebar, I know we're going to talk about that, comes up again in 2023. So I found that really interesting when I watched the new version. I was like, oh, they're just going to do that again? That's really funny.
And it's a trope, obviously. And I think it's there, but there's also, again, enough layers between them where I think that it's not if they had just left it there, you know what I mean, then you would have been like, oh man, but I think both of them get enough that, they go through full character arcs, because Sheree, she's a good friend. She's not, she's got her own agenda and things that she's looking to do. But at the end of the day, you know, she's got her girls back, and she's not gonna, you know, not for kid, not for play, not for anybody else. Like she's, you know, there, and she's gonna be, you know, down for her friends. So I think, you know, even though there is a little bit of that creeping in there, like it's not like, oh, she's, you know, because she is still relatable. And I think, you know, for people going to see the movie, like some people are like, I'm Shireen.
Yep. Absolutely. Just real small tidbit. And Jerry, I know I brought this up before, but the names Sydney and Shireen come from a long forgotten rap group by the name of Finessence and Quiz, whose real names were Sydney and Shireen, and who the characters are loosely, very loosely based on. So just a little another tidbit from you know, Uncle Sir Daniel. And can we talk about the impact though?
Yes.
Like House Party, I mean, it was a renaissance. Let's just call it that. It was a renaissance. We had, you know, after House Party, you get your New Jack Cities. Around the same time, you have your Boys in the Hood. We're getting this whole film noir moment that has a definite urban slant to it and a hip hop sensibility. Mostly because, and I believe mostly because Hollywood figured out that this brings in dividends.
Yeah. It was at the time speaking to a new market for the most part, right? So hip hop had started to build up, as we talked about, even when we were talking Breaking 2, like you had your Beat Street, you had your break-ins, you had your Crush Grooves. By 1990, though, hip hop has grown in, it was no longer just a fad. It was no longer just a thing that was going to go away, right? Hip hop was becoming more influential. So I think Hollywood began to take notice, but more so, I even think the success of what happened with School Days and Spike Lee and Black writers and directors really saying like, no, we can do this. We can make our own films for our folks, and kind of bum rushing it a little bit made a difference. But yeah, the impact on the impact from this film on Hollywood, I don't think can be understated, because you're absolutely right. We saw everything happen at this point. So when Sir Daniel and I were teenagers, we always had a Black movie to go and see, for better or for worse, because some of them were terrible. But but we had them, right? You were able to get a Who's the Man and a Strictly Business, and which starred Halle Berry, by the way, and all of these films. But House Party became the thing that I think jump started like the Hollywood run of films that still continues today, quite frankly.
Yeah. Now, I think, you know, a few things, right? So Reginald Hudlin, don't sleep on the man, right?
Yes.
Don't sleep on him.
Let's see, right? You know, graduated magna cum laude from Harvard University, right? With his BA in visual environmental studies. But like, this was a short film that he did. This won the first prize in this Black film contest that he did when he was a student there. And it's kind of what put him on the map, right? Like allowed him to get some of these meetings with these Hollywood studios. And like I said before, they told him to his face, this probably isn't going to be a success, right? Like this movie is not, because even at the time, right, 1990, like you just said, you know, had all these movies that came out, and they were pretty, you know, like financially, right? Financially, right? Like studios are looking at these and like, all right, you know, they didn't really cost us any money. They didn't really make us that much money, but like, you know, they paid for themselves. And you know, like this is cool, right? House Party comes out in 1990, has a budget of $2.5 billion, has a box office of $26.4 billion. And I think that in and of itself told Hollywood, oh, wait a minute. We can make these movies for cheap and they can make that. Oh, okay. You know, we need to start getting into this. Cause like you were saying too, even at this time, like hip hop is slowly starting to break through. But when you think about, what's playing on MTV, right? Not a lot of hip hop still. What's playing on the Billboard charts, right? Like hip hop is kind of sort of getting in there, but it's still mostly on the urban radio stations and all that. And so this is another landmark breakthrough in the mainstream for hip hop, as this movie that is like, again, it's very much steeped in it. Like it's not just here are some black kids, having a party. It's like they're rapping, they're dancing, they're doing all these things, and they're bringing it to people who either haven't really had that much exposure or, opportunity to really get into hip hop, or, they're crossing over into spaces where it's just like, oh, hip hop is this too? Okay. I like this. You know what I mean? Let's do more of this. And so, this is, again, there's the explosion into, then you start getting your Martin comes out, I think maybe 2 years after this. 2 years after. You start getting your Fresh Princes and like all these other things. And it's a whole kind of momentum. And I think House Party played such a huge role in that, because if it was just a thing that like kids were into, and specifically black kids, right? And that's kind of always, the issue is these things where it's like, all right, well, Hollywood, for whatever reason, is convinced that black people aren't going to come out and support. They're not going to spend money. They're not going to be enough to like float, a big box office production, right? And we do spend money, you know what I mean? Yes. Like look at some of the most highest grossing films of the last 5 years made by black people, starring black people, you know what I mean? Right. Like we get people to come out, but it was the idea that, oh, white people they're gonna be into this too. They're gonna watch this too. White kids are gonna want to dance. Like can play. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, we can do that. we can slide some money that way.
Oh, you brought up a good point too, because I also this is true for a lot of hip hop of this era, but this was a bridge building film. I remember my dad really liking House Party. My dad is not of the hip hop generation. He was familiar with like It Takes Two. It Takes Two was his jam, right? Yeah. But it was few and far between. But House Party was something he could get into, right? So you have Robin Harris in it referencing Dolomite. And you have John Witherspoon. There was all the things he liked too. In the type of films that he grew up with. House Party had that. The whole Dick Gregory gag was hilarious. The gag about the you know my brother, you got to buy your own. Jordan, you don't remember this. Me and Sir Daniel saw that commercial all the time.
In real time. Yes. But to your point, J. Ray, our parents felt safe with Kid and Play. Kid and Play were like our older brothers that our parents felt safe leaving us with while they went and had their night out on the town or whatever. Yeah. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. It was definitely bridge building, which is something that doesn't really happen a whole lot today. I think the generations are very polarized today, which leads me to bring up the discussion of, House Party 20s. House Party 2023 and what that says about
before we get to that real quick, I do want to ask, so you guys saw House Party in theaters. Did you see House Party 2 in theaters?
House Party 2, yes, I saw that in theaters.
I did not.
House Party 3, I don't remember. I saw Class Act in theaters.
Class Act? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I see Class Act in theaters? No, I did not. By that time, I was more into television series, or I was into like Deep Cover, Juice, those kind of movies. Kid and Play, I kind of grown out of Kid and Play at that point.
Okay, because that's the thing, like these movies. Because then after that, House Party 4, I think is immature.
It's immature.
Kid and Play is not even in it. Yeah,
nowhere near it.
And then before this one, because this is what really confused me about 2023, they made another House Party reboot that was just called House Party that came out in like 2017.
I've never seen that.
And it was like when I heard they were rebooting it again, I was like, didn't you just reboot House Party? Like, you're okay. So but like by the time 2023 comes out, it's like House Party is almost like a Nightmare on Elm Street, or one of those where it's just like they just keep making it again and again and again. kind of to diminish. I mean, definitely to diminish in return to what you get to House Party 4. But like, you know, it's so far removed that, you know, Kid and Play aren't even associated with the film anymore. Like it's House Party, the franchise, you know.
Right. It almost becomes like a lampoon of itself at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious, Jordan, how you felt. Okay, let me just tell y'all real quick. I did not like House Party 2023. Like it was not good. Okay. It wasn't the worst film I've ever seen, but it also wasn't good. I didn't leave that film feeling good. So that's probably the reason why I didn't think I was going to like the House Party 1990 again.
Yeah.
I'm like, child, I'm going to rewatch it after watching House Party 2023, which I hadn't seen until getting ready for this.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, but I left House Party 2023 not really interested in any of those characters, like at all. I was not invested in them.
Yeah.
I didn't find them interesting. I didn't find the premise funny. I didn't laugh a lot. I might have laughed once with the koala, with the white man
koala.
and the koala. Yeah,
Koala. Yeah,
the high koala.
They weren't likable. Kid and Play was likable. The actors from this movie were not likable at all. There was just nothing, like J. Ray said, there was just nothing to take away from this or to be endeared to in this movie. It just felt like we're watching a couple scammers, you know, try to get away with something.
Literally, like you're breaking and entering in a man's house. Like, what? For clout. What? Yeah. What?
Can I tell you? So when it came on HBO Max, on a whim, I was just like, all right, you know, stream it. Let's see what's up. Because I was very confused by the trailers. LeBron seems to just be remaking movies from his childhood that he enjoyed and was like, what if I was in it though? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That seems to be his pitch to the studio. It's like, what if this movie, but also me, right? And the thing. So here's the thing that I think 2023. Because what I'm confused about most is like, what makes House Party the original so fun and so relatable is that yes, Kid and Play are not teenagers; they're not in high school, but that's what it's about, right? Like it's about kids getting into trouble and shenanigans. It is an accessible movie because it is something that you could see yourself or your friends getting into. Somehow sneaking into LeBron James's house to have a house party with celebrities is like a funny like SNL idea, but like for a movie seems like not enough meat on the bone. And the second thing is, no offense to the stars and the leads of the movie, but the thing about Kid and Play is that one, you knew who those people were, and two, and it's not to say that the two leads in this movie are like nobodies that nobody should even, you know what I mean? But like, because I think one of them is in The Blackening, and like, you know what I mean? Like I think one of them was on Snowfall, or if I'm not mistaken. But
Power,
you know,
I think Power went.
Power, yeah, it's Power. And so like, you know, they're around, but it's like Kid and Play were a duo, right? And that's why I was like, this would have been the perfect time to say, why don't we get city girls and make them.
That would have been fun.
You know, take it to Miami. It could be a similar situation where maybe they are not scammers, but they're like an up and coming rap group that are trying to get people's attention. And so they do like this viral house party situation where, you know, you can lean into the social media and all that or whatever. And it just gets so crazy that like Cardi B shows up, or like, you know, what, like how, like it just, you know, the party starts to get out of control, and it was just supposed to be like a fun little thing, but then it exploded into whatever. Right. And so like, it's a very simple concept, but like I think they overshot because the other weird thing is so many of the jokes are, well, not even just the jokes. It's like if people aren't talking about LeBron James, they are talking like adjacent, like it's LeBron adjacent. So like they're always mentioning him in some way, or like his championship rings, or something like that. And it feels like out of nowhere. Like, I know you're technically in the man's house, but like people will just start talking about LeBron coming back down 3-1. It's just like, what does this have to do with the movie that I'm watching?
At all. So, one, I think you're very generous by saying that there were jokes in the movie. Two, now that you said it, I can't get the idea out of my head of Baps meets House Party with the City Girls. That's a no-brainer.
You have to flip it with the genders. Like, I don't understand why this wasn't 2 women. Like, that's exactly what it should have been.
And I just want to, listeners, one of our listeners is participating live, just drop something in the chat that I think is just wraps this up. It's like House Party 2023 had no cultural anchor, purpose, or connection. It's wasted space. And that's from Dr. Ed Garnes, who's in the chat. But yes, absolutely right. And can we talk about the weird Illuminati running joke? It was just,
I thought that's where you were going to go, Jordan. I hated that so much. I was like, what movie is this now?
Kid Cudi was maybe the only bright spot in the movie, because I think Kid Cudi knew what movie he was in. And it was just like, all right, you want me to do what now? All right, I'll lean into that. Like, the 2 leads are, and I don't want to blame it on them specifically, because I think both of them are talented in their own right, but they were miscast. And on top of that, we're given so little character to play that both of them kind of just exist to get you from, point A to point B, right? Like, I don't really care about this guy's music or this guy's party promoting business. Like, these are 2 things. As again, specifically, if you're like 15, 16, like, that doesn't mean anything to you. Like, that's just like, 2 grown-ups who still live with their parents and can't seemingly do anything, like have no particular skills. Like, they're just kind of these bummy dudes, like just hoping to catch a break. It's like, I don't think that's a main character I'd want to aspire to be. I want to be Kid or Play. Right. Like, that's what I'm trying to get into.
But I will say, I'm glad you brought that up, Jordan. Before we came on, I was talking to J. Ray about that point, that the creators of this reboot wanted to appeal to the sensibilities of this generation. And this generation is very much about being main characters and, and living with main character syndrome. And I think maybe that's what they were trying to do with these 2 gentlemen in the movie. Like, they were definitely trying to be the main characters within the main characters of a movie.
I guess
kind
so.
of really. I'm reaching here maybe, but I'm just trying to have, just throw out a little lifeline to them. Like, maybe that's what they were trying to do, is trying to appeal to the sensibilities of the social media, the Gen Zers, and try to bring them along. But they totally missed the mark by not giving them some type of historical context. So they threw in Kid and Play in the Illuminati scenes. They just threw them in there just as a anchor, I guess, a historical context. But if you're 16, 17,
you don't even know who that is.
You don't know who they are, because Kid doesn't even look like Kid. He's not a Eraserhead anymore. So for me, like J. Ray, I was left completely unfazed by the movie. I didn't receive any kind of joy from it. The characters were not likable. The women who were cast as the love interests,
I felt terrible for them.
Completely like wasted. They were just one-dimensional characters. It was just really sad. So sad House Party.
But LeBron got to play basketball for 3 minutes
and show up.
So they showed the whole game.
So this was a LeBron circle jerk, right? Is this was
Mm-hmm.
it what we're saying? This was a circle jerk for LeBron.
For LeBron.
When that game started, I thought they were gonna show like the initial thing and then cut to him like getting dunked on for like 21. They showed every point.
They did.
Yeah.
I was
It
like,
was-
why is this going on for so long?
But that was, but I think they just didn't have a ton of ideas. That's why I think the whole Illuminati thing happened. Cause I'm like, this is the plan. This is the plan. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But when the hit, it just got wild and confusing. I do think House Party 1990 is absolutely still relevant.
For sure.
I've watched it and I got as much joy as I did when I was 12. And that is rare. That is completely rare. So yeah, it's a 34 year gap. And I still got joy. This film, the 2023 version, they could have kept that. That was not good at all.
Yeah.
Really bad money grab.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Well,
We covered a lot.
as usual, we covered a lot, J. Ray. We did a lot. But we could not have done this conversation without Jordan Clark, our special guest from the White People Won't Save You podcast. Jordan, please tell our listeners how they can keep up with you, how they can find you, and they can find the White People Won't Save You podcast.
Absolutely. Well, again, I'm Jordan Clark. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JRSosa18, JRSOSA18. Comic stuff is coming out, but again, look out for some of the DC Comics Milestone stuff. Should be on the way. And I've got some other projects that are coming out that I can't talk about quite yet. But if you want to follow us on socials for the White People and Save You podcast, you can follow us at white_pod. You can also follow Cameron at the Blipster 1138. We're taking a little bit of a summer break right now, but we've got almost 100 episodes in the back catalog for you to go through and listen to, including Breaking 2 with J. Ray and Sir Daniel, if you want to check that out. And then also be keyed in, because I think we might do a live watch with J. Ray and Sir Daniel for a movie called Rooftops.
Yeah.
If you are familiar with such a film. So we're going to work out those details, but be on the lookout for that too.
Yo, so exciting. And I haven't watched the film. I'm not going to watch it until we do it together. It's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm here for it. So, J. Ray, this has been an exciting. We gave the people what we promised them at the beginning of the show, of the episode. This was going to be an iconic and life-changing episode of Q Points podcast. J. Ray, how do they make sure that they always get this goodness each and every single time? Because they don't have, what's the name of the well, I'm not even gonna bring that up, but how can they keep up with us?
Yo, so make sure wherever you are watching or listening, you hit subscribe. That's the first thing you should do. Second, go ahead and share the show with other folks so that other folks can check out Q Points as well. If you love it, they'll probably love it. And they'll love it because you love it. So make sure that you share it with your friends and family. Visit our website at qpoints.com and click the subscribe button to be able to financially support your boys. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep the lights on over at Q Points. That's a great way to do it. You can also shop our store at store.qpoints.com. And you should definitely get up on that mailing list at magazine.qpoints.com.
Well, J. Ray, before we can play Kickstep out of here, what do I always say? In this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
My name is J. Ray, y'all.
That's been Jordan Clark.
Hey.
And this is the Q Points podcast, dropping the needle on Black music history. We will see you on the next go round. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.